How often do you think about water? Do you think about if water is safe before you fill a glass or brush your teeth? Do you think about where your water comes from before you turn on the faucet to wash your hands or take a shower? I never used to think about these things. Despite growing up in an area that consistently deals with drought, I didn't think about water until a couple decades into my life. When I was a young adult, I had the opportunity to spend a couple years volunteering, and part of that volunteering included deploying on disaster response. Here's some photos of the teams I was lucky enough to be a part of back then. Deploying on disaster response 3 separate times opened my eyes to our water issues. I saw issues with water contamination, water scarcity, and the inequity of water distribution. This really removed the certainty I had held about water, and it got water on my mind. I started noticing and appreciating water in a way I hadn't before. So with water on my mind, that's what I now study. A lot of my work revolves around the cycling of metals and nutrients in California's water, and what we can do to understand and improve our water quality. Water in California is a precious resource, and it takes work to provide high-quality, usable water. There are threats to water quality, and one of these threats that I've been working on and thinking about is nitrate. Nitrate is composed of 1 nitrogen atom and 3 oxygen atoms. It is very essential for some of our agriculture because nitrogen is really important for plants and therefore agriculture, and this agriculture that we have so much of in the Central Valley. Plants need nitrogen for amino acids, and they also need nitrogen for chlorophyll, which is used for photosynthesis. Plants without enough nitrogen can be yellow and fail to thrive. And so it's important that our plants have enough nitrogen. And through nitrogen addition, we have this term of excess nitrates. And so excess nitrates can pose real problems. When we have too much nitrogen added to our soil in the form of fertilizer, or if it isn't all taken up by plants, then it can run into our streams and rivers or make its way downward into our groundwater. This water that's being affected by this nitrate contamination can be the same water we're using for our drinking water. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or the U.S. EPA, has set a limit of nitrate in drinking water at 10 milligrams per liter nitrate measured as nitrogen. This MCL, or maximum contaminant level, was set to protect babies from one of the potential health impacts of excess nitrate consumption, and that's a condition that's commonly referred to as blue baby syndrome. Nitrate occurs naturally on Earth, so we'd expect to find it even in pristine areas, but a test result of greater than 3 milligrams per liter of nitrate in drinking water used from groundwater sources is considered an indication of contamination above natural background levels. It's not unheard of to get test results of greater than 3 milligrams per liter in the Central Valley. Studies have established the potential health impacts for pregnant people and infants when it comes to excessive nitrate consumption, but there's also additional emerging research that drinking nitrate-contaminated water can be implicated in higher rates of some cancers, such as colon cancer. Nitrate is considered one of the most abundant pollutants in Central Valley groundwater, and there's recent research suggesting that by 2050, in some parts of the Central Valley, up to 80% of the population could be affected by nitrate contamination of their groundwater. Larger cities have more opportunities and more resources to deal with this nitrate contamination issue. Smaller cities and individual well owners don't have these same opportunities and don't have the same resources. They might not have the funds for nitrate mitigation or to address the associated health impacts. The communities affected by nitrate pollution are often low income and rural and agricultural, and Latina communities are affected at higher rates than others. In data from 2003 to 2017 of the California Central Valley communities that are the 10 highest nitrate concentrations measured, 6 out of those 10 highest were majority Latina communities. These communities oftentimes don't receive mainstream media attention, and when they do receive media attention, it doesn't seem to translate to meaningful change or impact, and these stories aren't shared widely enough to reach a broad audience. So when it comes to the individuals and communities being left behind with nitrate, one of the issues we see is a lack of testing and information about nitrate contamination. A project I've been working on with collaborators is looking at ways to sense nitrate for this water testing. We know we have this issue of nitrate pollution in the Central Valley, but our current methods for testing nitrate just aren't cutting it. We have laboratory techniques and expensive equipment, but we're missing information or missing frequency of measurements that we'd want to really protect and enrich everyone's health. So some of the work that we've been doing is looking at what factors need to be considered when we're moving sensors that are being developed in the lab to being field ready. And the next generation of nitrate sensors is going to need to be portable, precise, and affordable if we want to get them out to the people who need them most. Nitrate pollution is a complicated issue, and there's multifacets to solving this problem, but increasing access to testing could help improve our understanding of nitrate pollution and help empower the communities affected by this. So I know I've been talking about water contamination for a few minutes now, and I know this can be a scary and overwhelming issue. You might be worried about your own water right now, or you might be worried about the communities around you. The good thing about this worry is that you're thinking about water now, and once you're aware of something, you can get involved to make a change. If you use a private well for your drinking water, it's important to follow the EPA guidelines of having your well tested annually. An accredited lab is capable of this, and you can find these labs through the California Water Board's website. If you're concerned about the cost, there are nonprofits you can reach out to who are able to help with the cost of well water testing. If you aren't on a private well for your drinking water, you can look up your CCR, or your Consumer Confidence Report. This is an example from the city of Merced, where this TEDx event is being hosted. This is just a snippet of the full report, so they're monitoring for even more than this. But I just wanted to take the time to point out that here in Merced, the measured levels of nitrate are below the limits set by the EPA. All of the other measured contaminants are below their maximum thresholds too. All right, so now that we've been acquainted with our own water a little bit more, we can start moving into thinking about what we can do for the communities and individuals around us who don't have the same opportunities with water. One of the great things we can do to start making change with water is get involved with organizations who are focused on this, who are focused on our vulnerable and disadvantaged communities regarding water. A quick internet search will return a variety of organizations to get involved with, and I suggest going through their websites to figure out which ones match with your values and skill sets so that you can make an impact and so that your voice can be heard in this. Another great option is to further your education on water. You don't have to get a degree in water, but what you can do is read in greater depth about the history of water in your area and about the history of water inequity in your region. Get informed and make a difference. You can commit to reading and sharing the next news article you see about a California town facing water contamination issues, or attending the next seminar you see on the topic. Your increased education can help those around you too, and help multiple people get informed, and a group together can make real change. You can also get involved in water at your local level. Become the kind of person who goes to city council meetings and let them know that this is important to you. Join a coalition dedicated to improving water availability and access, and write to your local elected representatives to let them know that water availability and quality are important to their constituents, and support sensible water policies when it comes to infrastructure and safety. I hope that this talk can serve as a launching point for you with water the way disaster response did for me. And remember, when it comes to thinking about water and making change with water, be mindful if you have access to water you don't have to worry about. Think about what you can do to bring this same opportunity to the communities around you, and fight to bring broader water equity and justice to the Central Valley region. I hope you'll look at the water flowing from the tap a little differently next time.